we're involved in various legal actions to try to restore the streams. The first being a petition to amend in-stream flow standards. And if you recall, there's that legal mechanism called the in-stream flow standard, whereby the State Water Commission is supposed to designate that minimum flow that is necessary to support all those public in-stream uses. Well, across the islands, the in-stream flow standards have been set only at whatever it is right now. So just sort of ratifying the status quo. Okay? And although the code, the water code that mandates these in-stream flow standards has been in effect since 1987, so 20 years now, the Commission has not set any scientifically based in-stream flow standards, any in-stream flow standards where they actually investigated what do the streams need, except in one case, and that was in the Waiahole case, where the community rose up, basically forced the Commission to do so. And that's basically what we're trying to do here. Basically the same thing as what happened in the Waiahole case, we're asking the Commission to not just ratify the status quo, but really investigate and figure out what the streams actually need and set that minimum at that level. There's also a citizen complaint against waste, which really addresses that question of, okay, if the plantations at the height of the sugar cultivation, sugar era, or sugar cultivation period, diverted all this water, groundwater, surface water from East Maui, for their very thirsty sugarcane crop. And yet, all of you, you look around you, and where's this? I mean, you see agricultural land being converted to housing and urban development left and right, right? And so agriculture is being phased out willy-nilly in central Maui, and yet the companies are still diverting the same amount that they historically have all these years to cultivate their sugar plantation, or to feed their sugar plantation. And everyone knows that sugar is a notoriously thirsty crop. Where's this extra water going? That's what the citizen complaint against waste addresses. And in fact, the complaint documents numerous instances where basically the community caught the plantation red-handed and saw instances of just basically water being dumped into dry gullies where it's not being used at all. The companies and the companies are diverting the stream, and yet they don't have any uses for it. So what do? They don't want to put it back in the stream. Instead, they just dump it, and that's a form of water banking. There's also going to be a challenge of water use permits by the plantation and others for stream groundwater, or groundwater that comes out from the mountains and flows through the stream. And related to this is a recently filed petition to designate stream surface water. So groundwater has already been designated. It happened in 2003 when the Waiahole aquifer was designated as a groundwater management area. Now the community, represented by Earthjustice, is asking the Commission to designate the surface water that is flowing through the Waiahole streams, so that the public can gain control of this water, that this whole idea of the plantations of water being their own private property is going to come to an end, and that the Commission is going to regulate this public resource for the public benefit. We might discuss this a little further after this presentation, because this is really on the front burner right now. You may have read in the papers, this petition was filed by Earthjustice in December of last year, December 2006. And there's going to be a public meeting in April 23rd, I believe. There's a flyer, 26th. There's a flyer here on this table for all of you who are interested. There's going to be a public meeting here. The Commission is going to come down and ask for public input from the community. And this is really one of the few times where the public, the people, can provide input directly to the Water Commission. And so I think it's an opportunity that all of you who are interested in this issue should take part in. And just one more interesting point about the petition for surface water designation. It's really been an inspiration to see the county government across the board, from the mayor, the former and present mayor, the former and present water director, as well as a unanimous county council, come out in universal support of this petition to designate surface water. And I'll talk about that a little a little more.
And the money.
Right. And there's been all kinds of other ways of support that the county council and the mayor has shown, and we'll talk about that a little later in this presentation. But I think it's really historic to show, to see our county officials really rallying behind this community effort to restore the water to public control and restore water to the streams. Well, here's a couple examples of what I was talking about earlier in terms of waste of water. And these are various forms of water banking. If you look at the picture on the left, no, that's not a stream. It's actually a formerly dry gully, and which when the plantations or the companies that divert water and they can't find anywhere to put it, well, sometimes they just let it flow. They just dump it in dry gullies where it goes to no use at all. And here's another example of that. Here's an outlet of one of the reservoirs, and then water sometimes dumped in open fields. That is not rice paddy. Their HCNS is not growing rice now. It's just water that is just being dumped on a field and lying there. And then you see examples like this, standing water in the middle of a roadway. And this, again, is just a form of hoarding water. Instead of putting water back in the streams, or more accurately, leaving water in the streams. Okay, the companies want to keep their control over water. They actually have made their plans fairly public. Their plans to develop surface water treatment plants, so these companies can convert this water, which they're not using for agriculture anymore, and sell it to you. You have to buy it from them. And I think the most bold statement of that plan is, you can see that in what used to be Wailuku Agribusiness or Wailuku Sugar. They've now changed their name to Wailuku Water Company. They sold off all their lands. All their lands are being developed into housing developments, and they've made no secret whatsoever of their future plans. They're now in the business of selling water to you and me.